Hello, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'm very honored to give a speech here in LO5. It's a long-awaited event. So my name is Shin. I'm from South Korea. I was born and raised in South Korea till I was 13, and I moved out of. I was just a regular kid. I went to church. Of course, I played taekwondo, and I loved my culture very much. So after I moved out of Korea, I managed to meet many friends from different backgrounds. I went to international school, so there were many people from different backgrounds, mostly from Western background, actually. And I managed to meet many people, and they had a lot of questions to me, such as, are you good at math? Or do you really listen to K-pop? Or do you really have to go to the army? Well, the circumstance that all the South Korean men have to serve in the military might feel very special, so it gives a view that a South Korean have a feeling of hatred towards North Korea. But I would like to fix that perspective today, and we'll see how Western media has been affected you guys, because you guys were grown in the Western background mostly. Well, I should say that the Korean Peninsula history is very unique and dynamic. We were ruled by another country, and right after the independence, we had a war. After the war, we had a military coup. After the military coup, we fought for the democracy, had a major financial crisis, which millions and billions of people got fired. At the end, managed to become one of the important countries in the world. What do you think about North Korea? What do you think about North Korea? Do you think they're very strict? They're poor, strict, and one-man-oriented? Well, these three sources are the sources that are used by the Western media mostly, the three sources. Because they have to emphasize how poor they're living. Let me ask you a question. Do you think the propaganda exists? Maybe you've been thinking about North Korea, because you guys have been taught so, because it's a fact. But let me tell you something. It is a thing, and it's very severe, and it's getting worse and worse. Propaganda is meaning information, especially of a biased and misleading nature, used to promote a political cause or point of view. Talking about the propaganda, I want to show you some of the Western media examples that is describing North Korea. So here's the Google research. Google, which is known for the most Western-friendly website. And I searched in English, why is North Korea so poor? And the answer was, if you can see the highlighted part, it says the poor governance by totalitarian regime. So you can basically say that they're blaming the regime and the governance system. However, I searched the same thing, but in the South Korean portal website. It's the biggest portal website called Naver. And they give a very subjective view of the problem. They say they couldn't keep up with China's reform and the industrial stopped. And at the end, the second paragraph, they give very interesting opinion. They say, in order for North Korea to develop quickly, the best way is to accept technologies from South Korea. Because language is the same in some extent. Well, in this context, you can see that they're building some sort of connection. And I was really delightful with this point of view in South Korean perspective. Well, since I am a teenager, I get exposed to many different social media. For example, Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook. I know you guys do as well. And North Korea for the last 10 years is becoming a very good source of meme. And it's not delightful. They're generating more and more memes about the Kims and North Korea and its people, which is entirely false. Here, this is a screenshot of one of the TikTok video. It's saying that named Kim in North Korea is prohibited because of the leader. Are you serious? The surname Kim existed in Korean Peninsula before 13th century. Even Kim's family was probably created. Well, being one and only separated country in the world makes so many special occasions, like military provocations. So it is very natural thing to media to pay attention to those actions. And because when tension goes up, it's obvious that words have to pay attention to it. And here's the media, Western medias, describing the provocations from North Korea. Then they have to use strong words such as concern and fear and danger. How about, do you really think South Koreans are scared of the military provocation? It is indeed we normalize the fear, but in fact we know that they're not going to touch anything. Here's the meme I brought to make you understand better. It's about North Korea launching a ballistic missile and releasing a policy against South Korea. And you can see the reaction. People care more about the Heung-min Sung, a football player, and BTS, the K-pop group. Well, it is very ironic. Well, here's another story from my dad. My dad, when he was in Netherlands, he saw a news that North Korean armies launched the 500 missiles to South Korea, and his fellows were asking him, "Hey, are you okay? Do you really have to go fight them?" And my dad was like, "No, it's chill. What do you mean? Don't worry about it." And they were surprised how casual he was being. It's very sad at the same time, but indeed we don't really care. And here's another view. North Korea is the 10th ranked in the world for most hunger country, which means there are more countries who's starving than North Korea. However, look at the UN sources. They're emphasizing the humanitarian aid and volunteers in African nations. They say they need help and will face acute food insecurity, and they need improved water control. However, here's a same question to North Korea. They are now again linking it to the human right violation and blaming the governance system. Well, the very sad thing is, let me tell you something. UN, even though they want to help them, they cannot because of the sanction that they imposed. Well, so guess who's helping them? China? No, it's their biggest enemy, but at the same time biggest supporter, South Korea. They've been helping them for rice, food, and even the raw materials for their industries. So I was generally thinking, when it comes to the other country having starvation, it's because of their hard condition and limited opportunity. But when it comes to North Korea, according to Western media, it's a region's problem. We have to ask themselves. Well, I was wondering, why would Western view so pessimistic about the relationship between South and North Korea? I concluded that Western cultures already experienced twice the consequences of having a new superpower. First World War and Second World War, so all began because of the creation of a new superpower. Korea now 6th ranked as a military in the world without possessing any nuclear weapon. Imagine they could up with North Korea. The power they would have is immeasurable. So without paying attention, what North and South Korea have been trying so far? I have prepared 3 examples. One is the 2018 North and South Korea Peace Summit. It was very remarkable. Some celebrities in Korea visited North Korea and performed, and they talked about the humanitarian aid and the technology they want to share in the same language. I'm pretty sure in the next slide photo, I'm pretty sure you've never seen this, never encountered. I have never encountered any Western media who use this source. It's the two presidents of both Korea, known for deadly enemies or cuddling. This is very ironic. Because you might imagine that both of them pointing at each other, shouting. Well, look at this photo. And the book over there, tiny book, is saying, unity, what are the problems? It's explaining the pros and cons of unity, and at the same time, 200 pages of blaming the Western. It's very funny. This photo, it's sad, but looks optimistic. Look at the two little girls touching their hands. They probably have the same surname, probably have the same ancestor, and probably could have lived together in the same country. But they couldn't meet together because of the 4 kilometers long border. And the next event I would like to share is very significant, and it still has tears in my eyes. It's the dispersed family that was broadcasted in KBS. So because of the wars, it happened really suddenly. There were many families who's been dispersed, and after like 30 years, they managed to make a TV program to make the dispersed family meet together. While organizing these events, the cooperation of North Korean government was very significant. About 10,000 families have met together, but still there are more families who are still looking for their families. In this picture, you can see that they're recognizing each other without saying much of a word. Well, this TV program has a record. It was broadcasted in live for 483 hours. And although their efforts, there are much of family who couldn't meet. And since I'm the big fan of hockey, I prepared a recent source. And you can see that something odd about the picture. It doesn't indicate which Korea they're from. Just not a flag, just a Korea. It's a unity. It's a united team, united North and South Korea team in Pyeongchang Olympic 2018 South Korea. Because the world didn't really pay attention to the progress that both Korea have been trying so far, they decided to show their will during the event that is known for unity, the Olympic. If you see the banner behind, it says, "We are one." Even though they didn't make a good achievement, it definitely showed the world, their willingness and their optimism. But you might want to ask me, why is it so important at this moment? You guys were fine for the last 70 years, come on. You might want to ask me, but this is really the last generation. The 3 or 4 or 10 years old boy who, when the war happened, are now passed away or in their deathbed now. Before we lose our true identity, we have to find them and we have to look forward for the unity, and we have to change the perspective of Western that have been ruined for the last 70 years. I would like to conclude with one of the most admired president in Korea. And once he said, "My dream is to make our army jobless," which doesn't really make sense, jobless army. But it implies that he doesn't want any bullets or missile while resolving the problem between North Korea. He believed that communication and diplomacy was the key. Without using the force is a true superpower. I hope the time has come, and at some point I would like to visit North Korea one day. Thank you.